Just going to wait while I find the document I've just closed. I'm sure everyone waiting at home will be happy.
Hi everyone. Enjoy the meeting. I thought, when I see it on my YouTube thing, I was watching it for a little.
Not watching, guys. I'm just waiting still. We are left. It's fine. Well, I'll stay here. Thank you for coming to tonight's meeting of the full council. That we're just waiting on my computer to
wake up.
Well, it's awake. It just doesn't let me find the thing I need.
Trying to get onto YouTube.
Right, so sorry about that. Apologies for absence, first of all.
Councillor Davis, Gordon, Way, Shura, Bull, and Wycold.
Gosh, we're not very popular tonight. We're an elite group. Are we happy to accept their apologies?
Absolutely.
Lovely, thank you very much indeed. Declarations of independence, pecuniary, otherwise, requests for dispensation, gifts, etc. Anything at all?
Nobody likes me.
Would you like a gift? I'm just going to say the person in item 174.09 is known to me. They work with me at Elmwood School. That doesn't affect what I'm going to say about it. 24/169/01 to approve and sign the minutes of the full council meeting from the 18th of March. I have them in front of me here. Any questions or queries or anything? All right, order. I'm going to propose that I sign them. If anyone's willing to second it, David is in there. Everyone okay for me to do that? Thank you very much indeed. Got a pen tonight. Just loads. Thank you very much indeed. Public participation from interested parties. There's no one here. Considerations of requests from interested parties. None. North Hants Council. There aren't that many councillors left at the moment, but very soon, there we go. Town Matters 24/173/01 to receive a verbal report on schedule for VE Day on May the 8th. I presume this is me.
Yes,
that's all right. So the St. Peter's part of the event, we had a meeting on Sunday with the British Legion, the head of the Cadet Force School, someone who's reading something out, and Stephen Webster from St. Peter's, who called the meeting at that time, then forgot about it because we had a cup of tea, but we all got together in the end. It was all very good. I've put most of the sort of highlights, but basically we're going to get the Lord Lieutenant here about 2:30. We're going to get 4 cadets from Prince William and 4 cadets from Amble School to meet him at the Great Hall, walking around St. Peter's. There'll be a band of some sort from Amble School with exams that afternoon. It's going to be hard. Hopefully, there'll be an American Army truck from the 1940s parked there as well that they can play on, but I haven't quite had confirmation of that yet. 50 or so Year 5 pupils from Adel Primary are going to come down and sing The White Cliffs of Dover. We're going to have Churchill's speech read out. There's going to be a Thanksgiving prayer from 1945. The British Legion, there's going to be a drumhead formation in front of the church doors. They're going to lay a wreath on it. And with your approval, I'm going to hopefully get a V and an E garland or bunch of flowers made from town, which the young cadets will then lay inside of the church door as sort of more of an optimistic celebration type thing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Are we actually taking a record of this in terms of photographs?
We've asked the school photographer.
Because I think we should do the follow-up for this would be a commemorative webpage on the Arundel Town Council webpage, which is a sort of
record of things.
Photos.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get some good photos and some good coverage.
I think it's brilliant though.
Then the dream is to have the bells pealing out as they would have done 80 years ago, but the peregrine falcons might be nesting. And if they nest, They're probably not allowed. Well, they're allowed to ring the bells, but if the falcons leave and don't come back, there's apparently a very large fine that the church would have to pay.
So that's St. Peter's.
Yeah.
YouTube bells.
So we might have to play a recording of bells, which isn't quite the same. But we'll see. They're not sure if they're nesting at the moment. Every time they go and look, they get dive bombed, which isn't a good sign. We'll know more by then. So there is a team ready to ring, but the peregrines might have something to do with it.
And I think the museum will be interested in some of the photos for an archive or something like that.
So I'm going to go around the shops and give them this and the market stalls this week. This is a photo from the archive, which is sort of what I'm trying to base things around. People walking down West Street outside the Vine, wearing their hats. So we've got instructions on the back of how to make hats. If they want to make hats, we've sent that to the primary school. Our house is doing a tea afterwards, which the Lord Lieutenant's going to go to. Thank you, one of those tea
Thank you.
Thank you. That'll save me a job on Thursday. And things going up on the 1st of May.
Yeah.
So if there's a bit of VE Day colour in place, a few VE Day offers, happy days, Lord Lieutenant comes up here. There's a few oldies who remember VE Day going to come in as well from outside. There's rumour that the oldest inhabitant of Alder is just over 100, and they're going to try and track them down as well and get them there. And then hopefully go and open Flettenfield again with photographs, etc. With the Flettenfield thing, it seems sensible to get Northants councillors on board, because we don't know who they're going to be.
No.
I don't think they know.
So I've told Councillor Harrison to spread the word if you were to get in. But again, all we can do really is tell people the day after the election result, if you're free next Thursday, come up here. And I've given Lee Barron a nudge, and he might be able to get out of the House of Commons, because I thought Aldle gets forgotten off the official map a bit, and so a sort of an event on Flettenfield would be a good thing.
Are our wonderful knitters, I forget what they're called, but are they doing anything wonderful?
Yarn Bombers are aware, but they have other targets. Yeah, and the problem is they've got a couple of things we might be able to use. We've got to find the right place for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're on that.
They have got those lovely, didn't they have those things at Peterborough Cathedral?
A lot of things have gone. They're now moving on somewhere else.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
I'll just, because it's
They will be the ideal things, but anyhow. So I think it's all coming together. Everyone's welcome. We've put some ideas together to try and advertise it in the next few weeks locally, which hopefully will work. And it's not everyone's cup of tea. A lot of people won't want to come. That's fine, but it's there if they want to.
I guess it's unfortunate that it falls on a Thursday, which is, yeah. I know it obviously commemorating that day, but it, in a way, it would be. Best is not the right word, but it would be. We could potentially do more if it was on Saturday. Or,
We could, but this is a decision from on high that it's on the day of.
one thing, because you've asked, we need to advertise it, because, it's not that far away. Just a question, we've got the Comms Working Party who's been asked by Ian to approve it, but a lot of them are away. Can we do it for the council? Because I'm happy to propose Ian's
I
suggestion.
think you've seen it, you're okay.
I'm happy with it.
As long as Emma or Rebecca's happy with it.
Yeah, Rebecca's on holiday.
So
Yeah, I haven't responded yet. I haven't responded.
And then that's it, Rob.
because we only need 3 of us to say
Yeah,
yeah.
I can at least cancel it.
That's fine. So I think we're covered. Lovely.
I'm sure it's been discussed in the previous meeting, but I don't remember anything, so probably it wasn't a tip. But what about Market Day? Because it's Market Day on a Thursday, so.
That's why we put it outside St. Peter's. And market day finishes about 2:30, 3 o'clock. So I'm going to see the market traders on Thursday and ask if they're willing to, put a Union Jack on their stall or whatever it happens to be, and tell people about it.
Okay.
But again,
Posters on there.
yeah, the sort of general view from the pageant master, great title, is to do it in the afternoon and the evening of the 8th. We can only get the Lord Lieutenant until 2:30, so
From 2:30.
from 2:30 to 4:30
Yeah.
when he's off to Daventry. So Yeah, there we go. So yes, there we are. I'll hopefully get the garlands ordered this week, and hopefully they'll come out the Mayor's Fund if nothing else. 24-17302 to consider the annual town meeting agenda and presentation. I think the agenda looks fine, same sort of principle we've done the last couple of years, looking back, looking forward, reports from some community groups. Obviously, there's quite a few of them need to be tweaked at the last minute, the finance ones, but also who the councillors are and who the NNC councillors are. Anything else anyone else would like to feedback to anything or anyone? Everyone's pretty good.
Just, I think PC Deck will be there doing
Yeah.
talk, so he's agreed to it, he's managed to change his shift. So that's
great.
good.
Bless him.
I need to make my slide make me look a lot less boring.
Well, I think
Speed signs.
I described it as being a chance for him to meet the most people, because I said we're always packed full, and they are though, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it'll be a good opportunity for him. I just thought I'd mention that.
Excellent.
He might not make it because he may be on operations, an emergency might happen, but
Yeah.
So Emma, we're happy with
You're happy.
all that's been put in there. 24-17401, my report, I sent a live link because it was changing up until this morning. So just going through a couple of edited highlights. I don't know if any of you have seen the work of the road mender machine in North Street between the traffic lights. There's been lots of square potholes put in.
yeah, we saw that.
And the exciting thing is they seem to have stopped the vibration in the houses nearby, and they're made of recycled tyres. So there's a trial, it's very exciting. It's good news, and they can do a lot of work quickly. So that's good news. I put a photo in of a fruit tree in the wreck which survived the circus. Hopefully the wildflowers will now come up. Something's growing. It's either grass, weeds or wildflowers. And we'll know soon at some point, but the trees all seem to have taken, as they have on Flattenfield, as they have in the cemetery, which is really good. I had a chance meeting with Danny from NNC about buses. He's doing various checks and he's chasing the bus operators to try and make sure they do what they say they're doing, which is good. We had an online meeting with BCR, which about later on. There's been progress on electrification of the marketplace, electric sockets in the marketplace, but it's going around various bits of the school at the moment, but hopefully estates will get something quite soon about that. There's a nice picture of me with a guy from Kenya. And I had a very good chat this morning with Niceworks, the people that did the runs in January and March. So we had the res in January and March, but they weren't aware of quite so many communication errors with residents, etc. So hopefully some good stuff will come from that. 24-17402, the clerk's report. Emma, anything you want to add?
Just to say that I've tweaked how I do my action list now, with the help of ChatGPT.
GTP, whatever it's called.
After a little bit
Chat
of
thing.
tweaking, produced it in about 30 seconds. I normally sit there copying and pasting various things. Just the other thing really is the meeting that I had, first meeting with NNC about devolution of services, and I basically talked about what the plan. We're going to meet on a monthly basis, and we all talked about the things that we thought each individual town area might be, and that's when I raised the bus shelter. It's not all set in stone, and there might be other things that we think about, but they're going to put together over the next few months this plan. So hopefully there'll be, if anybody does take on any services, it won't just be about it being thrown at you, you've got to find the money, they are going to work with us.
It'll be like that, won't it? But it's not going to be a step, it's going to be Northampton coming down and us coming up.
Yeah.
And the lady in charge seems to be very keen on making that.
Yes, Kerry, yeah.
Are they proposing to move budgets then? So with them, so if are they actually going to reduce their budgets by the amount they pass on? Because as a resident, I feel like I might end up paying twice otherwise.
You get half as many services.
I mean, it might be that with like bus shelters, we may not want to actually take that physical asset on, but what we might want to do is give them a little bit more money to make sure that they will look after them, keep them clean and repaired, whereas at the moment, they're not.
Danny, in his conversation with me, mentioned that they're looking at bus shelters and they're looking at, I think, a deal, I could be wrong, with one of these advert companies that you see in London and stuff, whereby they put an LCD screen in the bus shelter. And they couldn't do it in the conservation area, but the ones outside they might be able to. And they can then use the revenue from that to improve the services. And one of the interesting things might be for us to say, he said some local groups use those as not advertising boards, but messaging boards, getting council messages, local business advertising.
It'll be like those digital boards being multiplied.
So there might be lots of moves coming from them, I suppose, but it's all from them, isn't it? So lovely. Thank you very much. 24-17403, an update on the 2025 elections. Obviously, we are hotly contested as far as NNC are concerned, but it looks like our May election for the town council will be less hotly contested, but we'll have hopefully a full council in May, which is good. Presumably that goes through the process that the 1st of May they make a statement about who's on the council. That's May the 2nd, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, and then if we, if anybody wants to be co-opted, we can co-opt at the May meeting.
And then we've got a request, John's been doing a lot of work on this induction pack for new councillors. We'll certainly have probably 4 new councillors, I suspect. And he's requested that we look at it, which hopefully we've all done. And once we're okay with it, we're okay that David and John finalise anything, polish anything off. And then it's the new councillors are inducted in May. And they can help sort of feedback on how helpful or not helpful that's been, which is brilliant. David?
Yeah, just an update on that. I've shown it to Danny Moody at NCARC, and he was impressed by it. He said something was a bit cringy, but then so new councillors, it's all right to get rid of some of the things you're saying. Like, for example, one of the things he flagged up was the HR meetings are not all done in private. And it's one of those peculiarities about how councils run. But no, he said it was good. He's approved it for us, and he's going to make, when we finish it on our side, we'll send him a copy so he can then say, here's an example of an induction pack that Hamilton Town Council used that you could use in your thing. So, yeah, it's done. It's just in the process of being Rebecca-ized when she comes back. Is that right?
Any comments or questions or anything that anyone wanted to add or change? The only thing I thought might be worth tweaking, and I don't think it's crucial, is on slide 6. It suggests the mayor is elected, which people think that mayors are elected like in
Oh, no, within the council.
Yeah, so just saying elected within the council.
Within the council, yeah.
In case people start knocking at the door saying I want to vote.
I did come across in that meeting, I came across another parish where the mayors were not elected. It was a fait accompli because the husband and wife are the clerk and the mayor.
Sounds good to me. I was going to say it's fait accompli through some sort of fight protocol. Last person standing in a cage. So we're okay to approve that, I presume? We need to vote on that, do we?
No, I think
We're all happy. Yeah, fantastic. 24-17404 to approve the strategy workshop proposal. This has sort of been rolling on a bit, trying to find dates. And the general request from John, who's not here tonight, is that we find a date that at least 5 of us and the town clerk can make and meet with Danny then. And that seems a sensible solution to at least get things underway. Those ideas then come back to full council for discussion. So it's like a trickle down rather than trying to find a date when everyone can make. It will probably be in 2027 or something.
Yeah.
I think that's a sensible idea. Are we all okay with that?
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you very much. 24-17405 to receive the employment law newsletter. It's received.
Hmm.
20,
I just want to query something on that,
Please do.
actually, because I know on April the 6th, the Neonatal Care Leave and Pay Act came to force, or 2023, where parents can have up to 12 weeks off if their baby needs neonatal care. And I noticed it wasn't included by Chris on that. Have you seen it in a previous?
Oh, I think I've seen it on a previous,
I noticed it.
so maybe that I'll have a look back.
Yeah.
I seem
If not,
to
it
recall
might
seeing it.
need a prompt to
Yeah.
include it, so we can update policies and things, maternity policies, etc.
lovely. 24-17406, to consider the Northamptonshire Fire and Rescue Service public consultation on the community risk management plan. I actually had a look at this. It's quite cool. I quite enjoyed it.
To save a lot of people a lot of effort, it's a lot of it's about response times to different incidents, and that there's a form that you have to. I mean, it's recommended that you have a go at the form, and I've done it, and it's only 5 minutes. It's not one of those forms that go on forever. But they're really interested in knowing about what priorities we allow for response times. It's things like that. I mean, there's other things in there, but I think that was one of the key messages. Are you, and also assessing if they're happy, if you are happy with the fire service.
Yeah.
It's, of all the things we've been asked in the last 4 years to look at, it's the most readable.
Oh yeah, it's one of
The
the
most-
nicest forms to
The most sensible, yeah, I actually quite enjoyed it. So I've had a look at it. I filled in the response
Good.
as an individual. Again, it's 5 minutes job. We could go through all the questions now, but I suspect
No.
it's going to be quite a tedious thing, and
Mm.
most of it's not particularly exciting. But have a look at it. Have a look at it. But I think it's an impressive document. And one of the questions is, do you feel, I don't know, fire safe in Northampton or something?
Yeah.
I do actually. It was good.
The key thing is, do you want the same response time for every call out, or do you want it to be different if it's like an emergency, like somebody's dying? Or, you know, that's the sort of thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
These are the minimum response times, or the maximum response times, like 9 minutes for RTA or fire, then RTA, and then stuff like that. So that's all I want to say. And
One of the interesting things actually was that their top priority, their top risk in Northamptonshire is wildfires.
yeah,
Then RTAs, then something else. Yeah, and they're saying it's just, there are going to be more and more wildfires.
that's interesting.
Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah.
24-17408. Oh no, not 08, 07, sorry. To receive an update from Councillor Fuller, Police Liaison Representative. We've got a, presumably sort of a generic
Yeah, I'm not going to read too much, but it was, I asked for it to be put in because there's an awful lot of information in, and it also explains the role of the PLR. And while I'm here, I've got a discussion to make about the schools approaching this PLR for an incident, which you probably know about, but I won't go into too much detail. But it's actually talking about speed watch as well, whether we want to do a speed watch. I thought I'd flag that up as well, and then save the networks. And then it's really interesting to, none of it's in Arundel, but to see what sort of crimes there are out there in retail. So they did a whole load of lists of names of people where they live in various parts of the county. And remember, it covers the county, not just Northampton for this. But I just thought it was interesting to make a note. You've got the document there.
Yeah.
In terms of the my PLR role, it's Barry, who is the school security officer, excellent guy, ex-police inspector. There's been a number of incidents, all I'm going to say at this stage, where classes taking place outside. There's a class taking place outside, and a rugby, some sporting event on Arundel school grounds, which is private property, and it's been interrupted by a youth, or possibly two youths, but one was in a balaclava, and one was taking pictures of the teacher with the kids. And the discrepancy between at the Arundel School security officer's viewpoint is that there is actually an Education Act that says you can't disturb classes. But the police have taken it as a Public Order Act, and they didn't act. So I've been asked as PLR to ask the police to reconsider. So as want to make sure I do everything right before I start putting my foot down, I've asked Danny for his recommendation of how I should approach this. But this is showing where the PLR role is. I do feel I have the right as PLR to say to the police, I'd like to look at that again.
Is this in the public domain because we're being told?
I haven't mentioned any of the incidents, the details of it, I'm just doing a general thing.
No, it's fine. Fine, so let's see what Danny says, I suppose.
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. The speed watch thing is a good idea. I flagged that up as well. Our Colstock Meadows residents were talking. We heard back from them about.
No, and I sent an email, it's just sort of a generic community speed watch email saying that the council supported
Yep.
setting this up, so I haven't heard anything since.
Right. Is it worth maybe doing that again and just saying we're keen? We're,
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
said that, but I haven't heard back from the person that set up the.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Lovely. 24-17408 to approve signing of a lease between us and Northampton, the Land off Blackthorn Road. Land off Blackthorn Road based at Southbury Grand. It's a little patch of land
Yes,
just out
that's a
there.
little bit.
Oh, okay.
My first thought, we don't have a specific budget for it, but
I think this.
Got any update from me?
Oh, no, sorry, it's okay, we talked about Springfield,
no, not yet.
yeah, okay.
But it's only £1 a year, which I suppose should be able to. All else fails, I'm going to look down my sofa and find it. But it's a 10-year lease. I think that's right.
Yeah.
2 of us need to sign it.
And then I'll sign it.
I was
And
going
there's
to
also a further document that, I need you to sign
This is
as
the-
well.
we
which
don't
is
get
the,
claim on it afterwards.
I can never,
This is
tenure,
we have right to tenure afterwards.
so we have the right to stay, the lease.
Does that mean that after 10 years it becomes our property?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, what does that mean then? Is it still open?
Well, we've had it for 10 years already, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we're just having a new contract on the side.
Oh, we just have to keep it.
Um,
£2 left on.
10 years time, that's fine. So, is everyone happy to go ahead with that? Yeah, it seems a good deal. I think the only thing is, if we're going to do this, we need to make use of it and make it a really nice space. But now we've got maintenance up here, that should be
we need
feasible.
2 councillors' signatures and printing now, and then I'll sign mine.
Right, yeah. I was going to suggest Max, but Max isn't here as chair of estates.
No, and then you could just.
Sign that as well. Do we need to formally do this? And
Should we to
Is it approved?
yep, also I propose that we sign it. David seconded just ahead of Val. Are we all okay that I sign and approve? Thank you very much. They want to be the second councillor. Who's on estates?
Maybe.
Jamie.
Jamie then.
Jamie. Since you were so keen, you got a pen. Still.
Right. Progress.
Don't give my pen away then, 'cause I can't.
Sorry.
Do I need to write on the top of this, or
Yes.
do you want to do it so people can read it in the future? Should have been a doctor. Of, what am I of? Have I of Andrew Town Council or of my home address?
Be your address, I think. I think it'd be your address, won't it?
I've started. That's what Magnuson said, I've started to finish.
Thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much. 24-17409 to consider a request to replace a retaining wall at Springfield Garden. This is the little community garden on the end of Rock Road, which I didn't even know was ours actually, but it is ours. I thought it was given to the community group. We own it, so we should look at it when we do our estates tour. Clearly, all the work's been done there for the last 5 or 10 years by the community group.
Yeah,
the person who's volunteered to rebuild the wall, and I can vouch for the fact the wall needs doing. I cycled up past it the other day and put my foot on it to stop myself falling over, and a large chunk of wood fell out. So it's completely rotten. He's a level 2 City and Guilds qualified brick person. He's happy to have his work overseen by a tutor at Peterborough College.
Great.
Good project.
To do this properly done. Lots of the stuff is donated by local suppliers. Bovis have donated it, and a local builder who's just moving into the area, is going to donate the rest of it and help him and oversee it. So I think it's pretty pucker. The only question that Emma and I had was public liability insurance, but we can sort of say he's an Amble Town Council volunteer
Yeah.
for the process. Jeremy?
There's also received funding from Transition Oundle, and it's sort of a Blooming
Yeah,
Oundle,
that's right.
Transition Oundle thing going on as well, because there's been an action group to do
And
the work on the gardens.
it seems good. The work it's low level. I mean, the wall's only about that big. We're not, it could crush a very, very small person, but it's not going to crush many people. It seems an utterly good thing that we're getting community stuff done.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Are we happy to let you go ahead with that? Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. 24175, financial matters, to approve the monthly accounts. We've got money in those 3 accounts there. The Unity Trust bank account, our current account, 70, instant access savings, and then our CCLA investment account, which hopefully is still paying out after Mr. Trump's week or two. We'll see how that goes. Are we happy to approve the monthly accounts? Val's right in there. Jerry seconded it. All okay with that? Thank you very much. 2417502, payments for March 25. The schedule of payments for March 25 as presented at this item are paid up. Any questions or queries on those?
No.
I'm happy to propose that we pay them. David seconds it. Are we all okay to vote on that? Lovely. Thank you very much. 24 is like a long shopping list now. 2417503, to approve the quote for the installation of gates at Flatton House. I wasn't in the last Estates Committee meeting, but I know this has gone around a few times. Finally, we've got a specific quote. It's a sliding gate. It's solid to hide the containers from our neighbours, also make them more secure because people can't see things, can't climb over them as easily. It's coming at £10,375, which was a lot less than some of the quotes we had, and seems a good deal.
Plus VAT.
Plus VAT.
Yeah.
Do we pay VAT or do we pay?
We do, we get that.
Yeah. So I had a quick look. I know we haven't got year-end accounts at the moment, but we've got £16,000 set as R&M against this property at the moment. We've spent, according to the figures from last week, 7,500. So there's some money in that pot which will go into reserves. We've also got a budget of 8,000 to move maintenance up here, which we spent 4,813 on. So those two together would effectively cover the costs from our reserve. But it might have implications for the hearing loop that we're coming to later. Any questions or queries on the gates?
No.
No.
No, we're all happy to do it. I'm happy to propose that we go for it. David seconded.
He's quick, isn't he?
He is. He's quick on the draw. He wants to get home for something. Are we all? Something's on telly at 8:30. Are we all okay to vote for that? Yep. Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. 2417504, to approve new electricity and gas contracts. Emma and I had an online meeting with BCR, which I had an awful feeling I'd forgotten and missed, but I hadn't, and it's great. Though apparently the guy we were meant to meet was on the M5 stuck in his car. I thought they were just some people that sat with a spreadsheet and put numbers into it. The level of support they offered us in stuff, the solar installation, the level of stuff we can lean on them for was just amazing.
Really good.
I was almost tempted to give them my personal contract if I could. Brilliant service, I thought. What we decided was Emma's put the most. So if we got today's quotes when we approved them, by the time we went to approve them tomorrow, they wouldn't be valid anymore. So what we're going to do, hopefully, is approve the broad theme of them, and then you'll get them tomorrow and sign those.
I don't know if this was covered in your discussion with them about solar, but I was surprised at the offers that I saw that there seemed to be very little difference between the day and night rate. prices,
Mhm.
unit prices. Well, I'm surprised. I mean, it's particularly for our half-hourly metered sites, because if you're half-hourly metering, then you'd think it would follow more closely what the wholesale prices do, which they usually do show a much bigger differential. So, for instance, on my domestic tariff is 7p at night and 25p during the day, which makes a big difference if you're talking about solar.
It's made a big difference to our bills.
Yeah, it makes a big difference if you're talking about solar, and particularly if you're solar with a
And a
battery.
lot of those seem to be also EV rates as well.
Well, anyway, whatever, without getting into, I suppose my question was really, did we specifically ask that question? Is there any opportunity to get a much better nighttime rate, particularly for use after assuming we've got to do the solar installation and assuming the battery is installed as part of that? After we've got the battery, you really need a good night rate to make the most of the battery.
I think we did talk about it. I think the fact that it's a 12-month offer was important, in that by the time we get everything set up solar-wise, that may be August.
That-
I mean, well, you did have 2 or 3 years offers in there as well, but you were only talking about doing a 12-month fix here.
That was his recommendation, which
Yeah.
then gives us the ability, once we've got, because at the moment we also need to get the export meter sorted on the solar. So there might be a couple of months we can't even export it. So his view was grab the best rate now. At the end of 12 months, we'll know what everything is, and then
Yeah.
go out to market again.
Okay, fair enough.
And again, it was good advice. The EDF unmetered supply seemed to be the only option we had. Someone called Gemma talked in more acronyms and letters than I ever imagined possible. And yeah, she looked about 12 as well. She knew every acronym under the sun. There seems to be an unmetered market realignment going on being suggested, whereby there's going to be every unmetered supply is going to be metered. And it sounds like an idea, but no one quite knows how to put it into practice. So it could come in the next few months, it might come in 10 years' time. But her view was, at the moment, we can't make a judgment on that. And if we are locked into a 1-year contract with EDF, who are the only people that are taking our quotes,
Yeah,
then they would effectively help us through that process, and BCR would help us through that process. But she thought it was unlikely. EDF are the best 100% renewable offer for all our metered readings. And again, the benefit is EDF, one supplier for the 2 contracts. And we've still got metering questions with them down at the courthouse. So that's a win. And then a carbon neutral gas supply with British Gas. The total savings in their estimation based on this year's readings look to be about £6,500 to £7,000, which is money for old growth readings.
So what's the proposal that we?
So the proposal is that we go with EDF unmetered supply, EDF 100% renewable for metered, and British Gas carbon neutral metered for gas for 3 years. And if we approve that tonight, Emma will get the latest things. You had an email today from him, didn't you,
Yeah.
saying that the market's not changed in the last couple of days, so it should be all right tomorrow. And the trend is that these 3 suppliers are still the best we could get.
Seconded.
So I propose you second that we all get a vote for those.
No, right.
Peter's getting upset.
Well, I
Why
think
did you send it before it's proposed?
well, it's been asked if the proposal.
Going. 2417505 to consider quotes to install a hearing loop. Struck me there are 2 issues here. One is it's a really good idea. It's this room and the Blackthorn room next door. We've got letters of recommendation from 2 or 3 of our users. One of them,
use this room and that
and
room.
they both, one of them's come up recently and started using the rooms more often. They both think it will be useful for them and their users, and it seems like it's a good enhancement of our facilities. I suppose the only question is where we get the money from, but we've got reserves. We've got 2 quotes. One is one that was recommended by the National Institute for the Deaf, and Sadler's have come in ever so slightly cheaper, but they do our electrics in basis.
But
So
it just sort of shows that, because obviously the first quote, because that I got that a few minutes ago, was incredibly high, but it's obviously that's about right. It's to do with, they have to put cable all the way around the room.
Yeah, like a loop.
Yeah, it's like a loop, and obviously it would be the
That's
same.
the expense.
Yeah,
So what are our thoughts? It strikes me that we take the plunge, enhance what we do now. Again, we've got money in the Flattened House budget, but we've just spent it on gates. So some of it's coming out of reserves at some point.
I don't think we've got a choice because it's about being, what's the word for it, equality, you know, just, you know,
Accessible.
accessibility. Yeah. So we have to take the bite and go for it because it does make the meetings accessible. And it may be two, but it might increase.
Any views to the contrary, or is that our general view? It's a good thing, we need to do it at some point. Now's as good a time as any. Yeah, okay, well, I'll propose that sorry.
She's seconding.
I haven't, so I'm going to propose that. I propose that we take the quote with Saddlers because it's slightly cheaper by about £12 or
And
something.
they are,
But they know everything else about the building. We've had lots of lessons recently about having too many people in the building that don't understand how everything works together. So I propose that we accept the Saddlers quote of 4246 plus VAT for this room and the Gladstone room. Peter's seconded that.
Yes.
She's happy to second something. Are we all okay to vote on that?
you have to
Lovely.
take the money from the general reserves.
Yes. Thank you very much. 241750 to approve a quote for marshals at the food festival and the Christmas market. They both come in at 3,664 for each. Very detailed quote, lots of how much everyone gets paid. I wanted to become the team leader, but they get a radio and no money, so I want to become the next person down. Why are we changing? I know there was a reason.
So, the other company no longer do it and then recommended this company.
Right, so the reputation. The other guys seem to be very nice. Are
I
these
do
people?
know that town councils would use this
Right.
company as well.
Okay. Yeah, I presume that we have a choice. It's got to be done.
Can I propose that we accept the quote?
Yes, and then one can second it. I don't want to monopolise things.
Sorry, who's secretary?
No one yet.
Oh.
Everyone's nervous now. Everyone's nervous and getting told off.
We got no choice.
Do we need to vote on that? Or everyone okay with that one?
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you very much indeed. 241750 to approve a quote for a magnolia tree to be planted. This is for the Lord Lieutenant to plant.
Oh, wow.
I had to declare an interest in that. My wife is called Elizabeth. And when I asked her about it, she was very excited that a tree called Elizabeth was being suggested. Given the fact that when we first started getting to the point where we knew Flatfield was coming to us, there was talk of naming it in honour of the Queen at the time, Huey Elizabeth II, and the Queen at the time of VE Day, which is effectively the day it will be planted, was Elizabeth as well. It seems utterly appropriate. I don't know if any of you have seen the pictures, but it's not a standard magnolia tree. It's a very pretty yellow.
Yeah, yes.
And I think if we put it
Oh, that's lovely.
up at the far end up there, away from anywhere, particularly in front of Abbott House, so that those people who are at the tea at Abbott House on VE Day could then see it being planted in every spring when it flowers, could say, I remember that was VE Day, etc. It seems, appropriate. David?
On the basis that it's the cheapest quote of the night, can I propose?
I've just lost control. That's all.
I remember riding on my father's shoulders for the.
VE Day. You'll have to go to Abbott House, Val. You'll have to come round.
That's a
Yes.
nice memory now.
No, but that's the important thing. It's people who remember it should go to the tea. 3 o'clock, Abbott House. I'll give you a lift up personally in a minibus. Lovely. So that was did we vote on that?
David.
I've lost control. David voted, seconded. Are we all okay?
David and David.
Are we all okay to vote on that?
Indeed.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Can you please ask Clive to make sure that it gets it before the 8th of May?
Yes, I will do.
9th of May, no use to us. 8th of May, very good. 241750 on the same basis to approve a quote to surface the pathway from Blackthorn Road. This is the one from Blackthorn Road that's less muddy than it was, but still quite muddy. I wasn't at the States. Val, Jamie, was there anything to add to it?
I wasn't there.
Val, were you there? Was anyone there? Did it?
Yes, I think the Lancet one was.
That was the one that's
I think there was
been-
quite a bit of discussion between the two. The Lancet one was.
That's the one that's been proposed, so
Yeah.
fine. It needs to be done so the Lord Lieutenant doesn't get muddy. That's very important. And again, the money comes out of the Section 106 pot.
Yeah.
It's set aside for flood.
Oh, that's all right.
£4,896, but it's a goodly sum. And the idea, of course, is at some point an archway is going to go over the top, but that's still going to come to us for final approval. But I know Flatfield Association, we talked to the primary school, and there's lots of drawings and
Yeah.
lots of excitement. So it's a nice connectivity with everything. Anyone want to propose this? David's proposed it. Anyone want to second it? Lisa was there first. Everyone okay to vote with that? Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. 2417,509, approve the quote to replace the swing seat at St Christopher's Drive. This has been around estates a few times as well.
Yeah, I think it's because it's over budget.
It is over budget. So it's a quote for 1,473. The idea is it's an inclusive swing seat that an older child who's in a wheelchair could use, a parent, and say mother, that would be sexist, a parent with a baby in their arms could use it. It's a really good accessible bit of kit. We have £1,000 to use for St Christopher's Drive, R&M. This comes in over that. So effectively £473 would have to come out of reserves to cover it. The good news is that we've got a £5,000 pot for the rec, for youth activities we haven't used, that'll be going in to reserves, maybe.
Oh, that would be going into general reserves,
Yeah.
yes.
So 473 coming out of general reserves is not a big hit to us in any way, shape or form. It's something estates have talked about a lot, trying to make both our two major playgrounds more accessible, and it's been successful at the rec, and hopefully this can help enhance the St Christopher's Drive play area. Any questions or queries?
No.
Anyone propose it?
Yeah, I will.
Jamie's proposed it. Anyone? Val seconded it before Jamie even proposed it, I think. Are we all okay? Are we all okay to vote with that one? Lovely, thank you very much. I can also turn it now. 24175.1, to consider quotes to purchase or lease an electric van for the maintenance team. This is from the people that helped us out when our last van was written off, who were down on the industrial estate, so it's keeping it local. It's a Toyota ProAce, which is an electric van. It's transit size, that means we can put pedestrian barriers and stuff in it more easily, which will hopefully minimise journeys. It never needs to go to a petrol station. When we're pulling in our solar energy, we'll be able to fill our van up for free, and there'll be less mileage on it as well. The even better news is the Corolla we have at the moment, which is about that high boot-wise, costs another £100 and something on this, so it's cheaper for us to lease for 12 months, and it still doesn't. It's still less than the amount of money we got to write off the van that was written off. We will at some point need to put a charging point in. Probably we've got a quote for about £1,800, but it does come with a granny charger.
Very quickly.
But it would last for a bit.
Yeah, well, granny chargers are, in my mind, health and safety risk. They need a dedicated. If you haven't got a dedicated supply, you can't just plug them into any. You shouldn't just plug them into any 13 amp socket, lest your house burn down.
Right. Well, my house has never been.
In fact, when you got the first Nissan, you came with a 13 amp socket.
They all come with one, but the problem, and you read the instructions on them, they say this should be plugged into a dedicated socket.
Would that,
Because your domestic sockets are not designed to run for 8 hours at 13 amps, and they'll overheat and they'll catch fire.
So, are we able to approve under this thing a charging point?
Well, yeah, I've had Sappers did come out, and I was hoping, we're looking to put a point on one of the containers, and I was hoping that they could just spur off the electric from that, but he said, no, you can't. So he's going to go off the main circuit board, and the cable will come all the way around, still attach it to there, so it'll be within the gates, don't worry about, and it comes in at £1,800.
Yeah, because you need a 16 amp supply for a charger, not a 13 amp supply.
So can we wrap that up in the lease of electric van? That's the fuel supply. So we're
I think so, because you can't.
No, we don't.
And don't forget, you'll save that on petrol anyway.
Well, that's exactly what Nobby said to me today. He said that's probably a year's petrol, therefore less.
Yeah.
David, you want to say something?
Well, it seems to me, I mean, just looking at it, it's currently phrased as to purchase it. So effectively, we're amending that proposition on the agenda from purchase to lease.
Well, it's
As part of it, we can amend it further and say lease this and
To
acquire
lease.
that.
Yep, that's fine.
what we can do is we can lease it for a year or rent it, but then if we did after a year decide we want to buy it, then they would take that as almost like the first parts of payment, so we wouldn't technically lose money, but I think
That's fine. So I'm happy, if everyone's broadly okay with it, it seems part of the eco revolution. And it saves us money, and it's a good thing, and it's a better van, so it's a win-win-win-win. I'm happy to say that we lease an electric van and get a charging supply for it. David seconded it. We all okay to vote on that? Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. 24175.11 to approve standing orders and direct debits for 2025-26. Any questions or queries on any changes or anything there? David seconded it. Are we all? Highway matters to receive the speed indicator device. We've got the maximum speed up to 110 miles an hour now on Gladstone Road, which is
No,
2M, that's what it says.
no.
Well, anyhow, it could be a police car. And just on that basis, I'll send this to Lee Barron, who's now got the speed petition for Gladstone Road. You can use it if you want to send a House of Commons. Nearly boring as I am, I could put this on my chart. That's all the readings we've had down Gladstone Road, because it's been facing that way since September last year, and clearly it's had an effect, and the effect's now wearing off. So if we could get it, even if we just turned it around.
we're going to move one further down on the other side and then move
The Westwick one seems to be doing a good job, but it might wear off.
the other one
No, that's a
on
good one.
Benfield Road. They would be moved sooner, but Nobby was on holiday, so
Couldn't fit.
Tony can't do it.
And now they'll fit in the bigger vans. The interesting thing is when you add all the numbers up, this is all on Teams if anyone can look at it. Since July, when the one on Gladstone Road went in, 16,963 cars have gone past over the speed limit. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but 16,000 is quite a large number. So,
I reckon I know who that one is who did 110.
it's you.
No, it wasn't me. But my husband and I were walking down Blackpool Road the other day, and this car, we both just looked at each other with our mouths open. It was a young guy, and he went like, so it was a racetrack.
There's certainly one car that goes around at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. You can hear
Yeah, I bet you it's the same offender.
Yes.
It was interesting though, because again, because speed is part of the police strategy, you have to fill in that survey every 3 months. Deck has done some speed checks as well, hasn't he? He also did one on tax, and we've had a car removed on New Road.
I think another car.
Yeah, because it's not taxed. So there is,
I mean, being removed today.
yes,
Oh, I went to go and report it because
No,
someone was
no.
moaning about it. And I came in early and it's not there anymore.
I mean, talking about this,
Just
I mean,
thinking about it.
just ask the question, have you noticed a change? Do you see a lot more police presence than there was
Oh, yeah. No,
4 years ago?
very much.
I mean, I've seen the blue lights flashing. I saw the other day outside where the garage used to be. And there was a light flashing, he was stopping the car. So he is based here, he's based at Apple, those area does go up to East on the Hill. But he said when I get some downtime, I'd like to go around and,
Yeah,
so we
no,
do have a better presence.
there's a much better presence.
And better attitude.
Yeah, much better. So
Oh,
then
yeah.
pass back our thanks.
Yeah.
2417602 to receive an update on consultation to change Blackpot Lane to one way. I contacted Sarah Barnwell and she's come back a month or so later, just raising our issues about cycling and pedestrian crossings down the end. She suggested bringing an engineer out on site. I don't think it's particularly speedy or urgent, but it's in their remit. David?
I don't feel that closing on that road soon, it would be impassable in either.
That is a very good speed. Yes, there's one particularly big one at the moment. We need a road mender to get down there and fix it.
I don't know whether he wrote it to you or not, but Philip Rose handed me a letter last week with a list of things that he thinks might happen. And he was also not very pleased for the letter. He was told there'd been consultation, and since he has not had any kind of consultation over it.
It's been
He was
public
There
domain.
were
for-
notices out, and obviously we got a notice.
Yeah, it's
We-
been on the notice board
Yeah.
for 2 months.
That, so where were the notices up?
There would have been one put on the road as well.
Right,
on the
I'm
street
not,
lamps.
yeah. Okay, I think he thought he would get something
letter.
through his door or a
Yeah,
letter or
they-
something.
And it was in, did we put it in the advertiser? In Coles?
Yeah.
Because he goes away a lot and, could easily miss something posted on the road, I have to say.
We just tend to go away for months at a time.
Sorry,
He goes away for a few months.
Anyway, holiday plans, 24/17603 to receive an update on request for road safety on 605. I've gone back to Councillor Smithers and said, you said you were going to give us an update January, February after they profiled the red route. He's come back last Friday saying, I will certainly get you an update on its progress as soon as possible, but nothing's appeared yet. So I suspect, as with many things with NNC, there's not a lot of people doing jobs. So whether, I don't know, we'll keep chasing it, and I presume as of May the 2nd, we'll chase someone else.
Always the best one to chase.
Planning matters, 24/17701 to receive the minutes from the planning committee meeting. David, anything to add?
Nothing specifically unless anybody's got any questions.
Did you have that meeting with the MP, was that?
Yes.
How did that go?
It was fine.
We'll
I
find
mean,
out.
I'll do a proper report to the planning meeting, but yes, I had about half an hour or so with him in here. So,
Excellent. Thank you very much. 24/17801, Estates Management received the minutes and report for the Estates Committee meeting. First of April, Max isn't here, you weren't there, Baby wasn't there, I wasn't there. I'm sure it was a lovely
I think
meeting.
that most.
Yeah, we've had most of it on the shopping list today. 24/17802 to consider rent increase for tenant in Fletton House. This is a suggested rent increase up to 4,200 for a larger area, taking over the Barnwell room.
Farmer room, yeah, and obviously the room they've currently got at the moment, we will then take that back and have that as a smaller meeting.
Smaller conference room. Any questions, thoughts?
Seems to be okay.
Have we discussed it? Are we okay with this thing? No?
Yes.
I think when you work it out as a percentage, I think you worked out about 17% or something, which they may feel sort of high, but,
Is there a risk that we're just going to end up getting a larger grant request from them? Is there an argument to go somewhere in the middle maybe? What are they at the moment, 3.6?
Are there other benefits apart from space?
sorry?
Do they get any other benefits from apart from increased space?
No,
Not like an extra thing, like they get
No.
this.
they're not getting, they're not getting anything other than the room.
How long do they want it? Permanently?
Well, the lease that they've got at the moment, runs out in October, that's 5 years, so this would be a new 5-year lease as of now.
So they thought it was good
So
to,
they've always had that.
yeah, we're going to 5-year lease. So I'd be happy to go a little bit less, just because we
Yeah.
they do a really good job.
Don't want to lose them.
Why
No,
don't we round it down to 4?
4.
So they could, people always like to get something on, don't they?
I think my approach would
3.9, so it doesn't hit the 4.
I don't know, I think my approach would be slightly different because I think we should try to commercialise the rents to an extent. And then if we want to, as it were, make life easier for them, we do it through a grant. But at least that way we are seen to be, basically charging at a more commercial rate for the building.
That's what the museum does, isn't it?
I just got a comment about that. I mean, I'm not with Volunteer Action anymore, and I don't want to get involved in this particular one, but the history is that I thought that it was Councillor Ratcliffe years ago who came up with this idea that you've just suggested, David, and that there had been talk since with councillors saying they want to stop doing that sort of a grant. So perhaps we'll have a bit of a sort of take a,
Jerry?
view on it.
I would suggest that what we're charging at the moment is a long way from a commercial rent.
Mhm.
It's already a very preferential rate.
Mm.
Which I don't have a problem with, but, you know, it's a charity that we want to support, and I think people probably know that I do volunteer for them. So I guess there's an interest there. But yeah, I mean, I think I think raising it in proportion to the increase in area is reasonable, I think. I think what we're being charged at the moment is already far below what a commercial rent would be. But I think as long as we're comfortable with that, I don't have a problem with it.
So just quickly, we're not voting on this, and just a show of hands, who thinks 4.2 is fair and would support that? 1, 2. Who thinks 4 would be fair?
Equally, I have no problem with that either. I can vote for both of them.
So, okay, well, just on that
I
basis.
think either.
Yeah. 4.1, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, £200 a year is not one thing.
Yeah,
Is it really?
it just feels it's a sort of a sign of our support for
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to propose that we go with a rent increase, or we suggest a rent increase to 4,000, if there's support in the room for that. David seconded it. Are we all okay to vote on that? Lovely. Anyone against? Anyone abstain?
Well, I'm only abstaining because of the interest.
Yeah, that's fine. So 2 abstentions. Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. 24,179 market working reporting. No, market working hardly nothing to report. The only thing I would say, relative to the next thing as well, someone put a fantastic video on something, Facebook, I think, Danielle from AMPS, about the market this week,
Excellent.
saying what a wonderful feel it was. We got lots of thumbs up. It's like a 15-second Instagram video. I don't know how to.
On Facebook,
On Facebook, on our community.
not on Instagram.
I don't know, probably
No.
not.
They are owned by the same company.
But if we can find it and share it. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was nicely done, and it was a lovely look, and she said,
Yeah.
congratulations to everyone who's made a real difference to the market recently. Lots of new stores, really good feel, good vibe,
Great.
yada, yada, yada. And I thought, well, I'd like to go there. Oh, you too go there. Wow, that's an animal. And so I thank Danielle, but I don't know, I have no idea how to make it spread more widely. I've told my friends about it, but that's not very exciting. I haven't got any friends. 24,189, Comms Working Party, the latest Out Advertiser article. Any thoughts? It's mainly about the town meeting in May. It'll hit the doormat late April, early May, so that seems appropriate. 24,181, Transport Working, we've obviously talked a little bit about that. 24,182, any other relevant matters before we go into closed session? Val, anything extra from you for report only? David?
Just a comment that I was really impressed by that Peterborough Telegraph article about the June Food Festival. Was it on MSN News as well?
You got all over.
There's a wonderful picture actually of Oundle looking absolutely fantastic.
It's on the Love Oundle website.
Yeah, Georgian market town, all that stuff. I thought it was really good, so I know you were behind that, but also Rebecca with the social media post, we should just say, well done, right? You got it here.
No, it's good. More of the same.
Yeah.
David?
Yeah.
Jerry? Jenny?
No.
Lita?
No.
Okay, so a couple more issues. Please note that in view of the special or confidential nature of business about to be transacted, it's advisable in the public interest, the public be temporarily excluded and they're instructed to withdraw. They're withdrawing. I'm just going to shut the door if I may.
I'll second that.
So, yes. Right, get a vote on that.
Yes. Shut the door. Shut that door. Yeah, shut that.
We're closed.
Yes.
But that wouldn't be on TV now, I'm sure. So,